First series in Baltimore, both of them would deliver the long ball, and that would cause some friction in later at-bats. When Donaldson came to the plate later in the ball game, the ball found him. Oakland took exception to that. A play at third base, Manny Machado took exception to that. There were suspensions, and now there's a second series. It's the Orioles on Masson, and yes, the All-Star game is over, and yes, the Orioles are back in play, and fans are here on the West Coast to see the O's take on the A's in Game 1 of this three-game set. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome for the Orioles. This is going to be a testing 10 days. They've got the teams here in Oakland, the number one team in the majors. They've got the Angels, and they've got Seattle, all playing really good baseball, and the Orioles against teams with winning records are 22 and 23. They've got to up those numbers. Speaking of numbers, let's take a look at what these two teams have done so far this season. This is a look at the American League rankings. You see the record, number one for the A's, the Orioles 4. Batting average, the Orioles with the advantage. Runs per game, believe it or not, it's the A's. Home runs per ball game belongs to the Orioles. The ERA, the best in the majors. Take a look at what they've done when it comes to home and road. Orioles have been one of the best road teams in baseball for the first half. They are fourth. The A's at home are second. Batting average, the Orioles on the road, nobody better. Runs per game, Orioles second on the road. The A's second at home. Home runs per game, not much of a difference there, home and road. And the ERA, again, the A's have the advantage with that 2.88 at home. That's the way they stack up by the numbers, Jim Palmer, but the game gets played on the field.
Well, I think the Orioles are hoping that. And the other thing you could throw in there, the American League East teams that have come out here to Oakland, they have only won 2 of the 11 games they played. So obviously 30 and 15. I think the one number that I look at there, 2.88 ERA. We know the Orioles, since June 1st, they've hit 60 home runs, the most in the major leagues. They get most of their runs via the home run. This is a very tough ballpark when you have good pitching to hit home runs in. But as Chili Davis, their hitting instructor, he said, the cheap home runs, they don't happen here. But the guys, the big, strong guys, and the Orioles have a bunch of those guys, they can still hit home runs.
And both managers talking about the delay, Jim, as far as getting back into action for both pitchers and hitters. You've had time off at the All-Star game. How long does it take to get back?
Well, I think the Orioles are hoping it takes about 15 minutes once the game starts. But, I think you actually need the rest. And, talking to Chris Davis, who obviously, hit a home run that last Sunday. The Orioles win that rain-delayed game 3-1 on Sunday night. I'm sure last year he went to the home run hitting contest, had 37 home runs. He probably relishes the days off because you can rest your mind. And it's not only the physical part of the game, but sometimes for some guys it's the mental. And for the guys struggling, they want that rest. And for the guys that are hot, let's get right back at it.
The baseball fans really looking forward to this. You got the A's, the number one team in baseball, leading their division. The Orioles leading the American League East. Big crowd expected for the opener here tonight. And yes, it is Park Night at the Park. They're going to be watching too. by AT&T, mobilizing your world. What a gorgeous night in the Bay Area here in Oakland. Take a look at the Bay and not far away from the Coliseum. Our train game time temperature at 67 degrees and mostly clear skies. A little bit of that sea smoke moving in. Visit trainsearch.com to find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Take a look at the starting lineup in the ball game for the Orioles as they get set to kick off this post-All-Star section. It'll be Markakis, Pearson, Jones, Cruz, Davis, and Hardy, Machado, Joseph, and Scope. For Chris, career here in this ballpark, real good. 318 average, more impressive, 6 home runs in a yard that doesn't give him up. So for the Orioles, no roster changes to start this part of the season. The A's come in 59-36. They're a game and a half up in their division under Bob Melvin, playing the best baseball of anyone in Major League Baseball going into the All-Star break. And the A's will take the field, trying to get their 60th win here tonight, while the Orioles will be after their 53rd. The Orioles have a 4-game lead coming in.
And Jeff Samarza, he comes over from the Cubs. You can see his array of pitches in there. I mean, it's plus stuff. Average fastball about 95 miles per hour, hard slider in 85, 86, and then a split changeup. So this is what he did, but notice the low ERA. That's the big difference. They don't score a lot of runs for him. One of the lowest run supports, and not only in the National League, but over the last 3 years. So again, you know, lefties hit him a little bit better. 8 home runs, 6 of those against the left-handers. But again, a power pitcher that, you know, after losing Jared Parker and Griffin, who won 14 games last year with Tommy John, they needed to get a little bit better with the starting staff, and they've been able to do that. We'll see Jason Hamill, who the Cubs rented for a year and then eventually traded.
So the Orioles face Samajo, who has never faced the Orioles before. He's had a few American League ball games under his belt, but this will be the first time against the O's. Some of the Orioles have had at-bats against him, but not many, and only about 3 O's who probably will play tonight. There's Nick Markakis, who will make the start in right field, getting set to go in the leadoff spot for the O's. And obviously this is a real important 10-game road trip for Baltimore. The West Coast trips, as Buck Sholder was saying before the game tonight, are always tough. But now you've got teams, the A's are in first place. The Angels are right on their backs trying to get first place in the American League West. And Seattle's trying to hang in to give themselves a chance to catch both of those teams.
Yeah, and the other thing that these two teams do so well, we talked about Oakland, they're 30-15. So they played 45 games here, they've won 30 of them. And then when you go south, which the Orioles will do on Sunday night and play Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night, the Angels even a better record with more wins, 32 wins and 15 losses. They've won 19 out of the last 23 at home.
Samaja ready to go. His overall record on the year is 3-8, both with the Cubs and with the starts that he has made here. This is his 3rd start for the A's. Markakis ready, goes after the first pitch. Cespedes will move over a bit in the corner, puts it away, 1 pitch and 1 out.
Take a look at Oakland's defense. If you're going to talk about anything, and they're about in the middle of the pack. Cespedes with 11 assists. I mean, really throw well with the exception of Crisp. He goes and gets him in center field. Saw Brandon Moss, big throw in a win against the Orioles in Baltimore. He's in right. Donaldson, Lowry, Perino comes up because their second baseman has really been struggling. And then you go around the infield. Stephen Voigt playing first base, red hot hitter.
And a strike will be taken by Steve Pearce. Pearce is one of those who has faced Samaja. He's had 5 at-bats against him and gone 1 for 5. Pearce, one of the great stories in baseball, with that .316 average, 11 home run, 31 RBIs for him. He'll put that one up in the air. It'll go to short. They had the shift on against him. Lowry is getting underneath it and puts it away, and Pearce is retired. So the Orioles come up against Samaja, swinging the bats here, at least in the persons of Markakis and Pearce.
Yeah, you look at all his numbers, Gary, over the course of this year. Only 1 time. And again, I mean, 3rd start with the A's after being traded over. He's only walked more than 3 once, and that was way back early in the season, back in April. Cincinnati, and who knows what the weather might have been. So he's a control guy with power stuff.
First inning has been the toughest for him. Opponents hitting .276. in the first inning against him. He's one of those pitchers who gets better as you go along, but he's got 2 outs here. Adam Jones will stand in. Samaja waiting for him. Jones is going to take a little while getting into the batter's box just to make Samaja wait a little bit. Samaja's been a ground ball pitcher. 53% of his outs this year have been recorded on the ground. The American League average for pitches is 45%, so he's significantly above that. In fact, prior to this year, he'd primarily been a fly ball pitcher. This is the first time in his career he's become more of a ground ball than fly ball out man. Pitch will be inside to Jones. He'll take it.
Yeah, his last start was against Felix Hernandez, and he got beat 3-2, but did give you an idea of how efficient he can be. 98 pitches in 8 innings.
Which may be why you start swinging when you come to the plate against him. And there's that slider that'll go down and away from Adam. Not close on it, and it goes to 2-1.
Yeah, he's got a little cut fastball. It looks like a slider. You can see the split change. That's the way he holds the ball, but that was a fastball count. And Adam looking fastball, and the ball just veered away from the bat head.
Adam ranking 4th in the American League in hits with 116. Samaja's delivery to him, and a swing and a miss. Throttle back on that a little bit and gets a 2-2 count.
Yeah, he got away with that one. That's just a split finger fastball that stayed up. And, you know, here in Oakland, twilight's still in effect, so the lights haven't taken effect.
Right-hander, 29 years old, looking for a 1-2-3. Jones waiting on it. That'll be way outside, overthrown a little bit by Samaja. And the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Samaja doesn't walk many. He's only given up the 31 walks in the time he was with the Cubs, and he walked only 1 in the 2 starts that he's made with Oakland. So 33 walks surrendered in 123 innings pitched. Jones stands back in, 3-2. Everybody pretty much straight away. Infield moved a little bit, playing him to pull. And Jones will go down swinging. So the Orioles' first look at Samaja's one they'd rather not see again. He retires the side in order. Chris Tillman for the Orioles will be on the mound when we come back. Oakland. Let's take a look at the starting lineup Tillman's going to face in this one for the A's. They'll have Crisp. He's just coming off an injury. Jaso, Cespedes, Moss, and Donaldson. Vogt, Lowry, Norris, and there's Andy Perino, who's been called up, as Jim said, to play at second. Jaso's got the 6-game hit streak coming in.
Yeah, Chris Tillman will try to figure out the A's. He's always pitched pretty well here, so you can see the fastball, which is kind of a low number, 54% of the time. Breaking balls, the curveball, doesn't throw it over that much as of late. And then a little bit of a slider, and then the changeup, which is his 3rd pitch that really helped him out last year. So there are the innings pitched. Record 7-5, 1-5 in Camden Yard. He's pitched with an ERA of under 3 runs a game on the road. Whole different story. He's 6-0 yet to lose, even though the ERA is very, very high at over 5 runs a game.
And against Oakland, he comes in with his 4th career start. He's 1-0, has a magnificent 1.96 ERA. Here is Chris. Manny Machado's in at 3rd, and the pitch will be taken up high for a ball. Let's get Manny out of the way right at the beginning. Manny Machado received a roar of boos when the starting lineup was introduced. Fans were all over him during batting practice and warm-ups. They were also all over Nelson Cruz with the remarks that Cruz has had to face much of this season. So the Oakland fans came in not forgetting what happened in Baltimore between he and Donaldson in particular. The players and the managers are like, that was 800 years ago. We got games to win now. So that's the way it stands as we start this.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because the players understand reality, and fans come out, and I mean, this is what it's about. Do you like a guy? Do you come out to boom? I mean, it's kind of a universal truth in baseball, and it's happened ever since I played. But the players understand who's going to get the most runs tonight's going to end up walking off this field the victor.
Chris will go after it, drives it up in the air, shallow left field. Pierce will commit a couple of steps, put it away. Crisp is retired.
Take a look at the Oriole defense. The least amount of errors in the American League. Pierce, Jones, Markakis. Jones and Markakis Gold Glovers. Machado the Platinum Gold Glover. Hardy a couple of Gold Gloves. Scope, Davis, and then Caleb Joseph doing the catching for the Orioles.
For Chris Tillman, he comes off the New York game. The Orioles lost that 3-0. He gave up 3 runs, 7 hits in 6 2/3 innings. He's had a loss and 2 no decisions in the last 3 starts he has made. The Orioles in his starts, 13 wins and 7 losses on the year. Here is Jace O's, the designated hitter, batting second in the lineup. 3 for 13 lifetime off Tillman. And he will take the pitch, and it is a strike. Jace O has had an outstanding start against the Orioles this season. Has played really well. 3 for 10 with 4 RBIs against the O's. Tillman's pitch, that one's going to be high and away. Tillman in the rotation now that has 5 starters until Ubaldo Jimenez gets back. It'll be the 5-man rotation. Tillman's delivery to him, and that's going to be up high. 3 that were up, 1 that got called for his, and the count goes to 3-0.
Yeah, I think the first one, it looked like he might have called it, but I think he eventually was a ball, and this is what John Jaso does. He works himself into good hitters counts, and when he does, he becomes a much more aggressive hitter. He hits on his terms. In fact, that's the whole money ball philosophy. I remember Mark Ellis used to play here, said hit like it's 2-0 until you get to 2 strikes, and the count allows him to do that right here.
Tillman with the 3-ball 1-strike delivery on the way, and that is it is 3-2. I thought so. The first pitch was a called strike, even though it was up, and that is strike 3, and Jaso's out of there, and there are 2 down.
Well, Jerry Meals is the home plate umpire. I thought the first pitch was high, but again, in retrospect, it was the same the last changeup was. So he calls both of them strikes, and Jaso goes down and takes a seat.
That'll bring up Cespedes. Big hand for the job he did in home run derby. And the fans up to giving him a standing ovation for that. Cespedes, of course, with the great power numbers. Average has dropped down. He'll take the pitch for his strike. As a switch hitter, he's hitting .274 right-handed and .298 left-hand. Take that back. I'm sorry. Cespedes at .246 overall with the 14 home runs and 56 RBIs. That ball's going to go to right. That's going to be a base hit. On to get it is Markakis, and there's the first hit of the ball game. Cespedes gets out of an 0 for 19 that he had coming into this game. Take a look at our cheap inside the numbers on the Orioles starter Chris Tillman.
Well, there they are, and again, these are the numbers against the A's, and to me, the key there, it doesn't walk a lot of guys, and the strikeouts are high. You would think primarily a fly ball pitcher, maybe a little bit more ground ball oriented this year, but over the course of his career, this would be the perfect place to pitch, even though not all the games have been here.
And that'll bring up Brandon Moss with a big shift on by the Orioles. They'll leave Manny Machado on the left side, move Jonathan Scope into the right, shallow right field position here against Moss. Moss 1 for 6 lifetime against Chris Tillman. Cespedes will be held at first base by Davis. Tillman's delivery to him, and that'll go to third. Actually to short, but it's to third because Manny Machado's the one who makes the catch. No runs on one hit, no errors, one left on base. Rebroadcasting, we have to figure out how we're going to handle all this. That was Manny. From Baltimore, you won $500 for being selected. You get $500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. Play the Orioles scratch off from the Maryland Lottery. Your chance to be the contestant of the game. Win a trip to see the O's play at Wrigley or the MLB World Series. Learn more at mdlottery.com/Orioles. Oriole fans, we'll see lots of them on the trip following the Orioles. Nelson Cruz coming up. Cruz, the designated hitter in the ball game tonight. Nelson has had a 2 for 11 in the 3 games played against Oakland in Baltimore. The A's won 2 out of the 3 games in that series. Nelson starts the day 1 behind in home runs and 1 behind in RBIs, 1 behind the leader in each category. He'll put that one up in the air, right center field. Little sun in right. Moss kind of shielded his eyes on that. Gets there. Cruz is retired.
So you can see Smarzer's not messing around. You know, he trusts his stuff. Pretty good story. A lot of people thought coming out of Notre Dame he probably would have gone in the first round of the NFL draft as a wide receiver and ended up signing a 5-year, $10 million deal with the Cubs. Jim Henry was the general manager at the time and kind of rushed him through the minor leagues. But he's got a deceptive windup, and the more pitches he's been able to throw, the more innings he's gotten better, which is pretty much what happens to young pitchers with plus stuff, and he has that.
Chris Davis looking for a big second half, and the Orioles would love to see it. Still getting some power numbers, RBIs. That one on a check swing is going to be a base hit into left field. They had that full shift on, and that left only Donaldson over there, and he took advantage of it. The Orioles' first hit of the ball game.
Yeah, you got to get him on to score him, and nice at bat. And what I like about it is, see, the hands come down, but again, I mean, this is the inside out. Yeah, it was a little check swing, but again, the bat head to the ball, and that's something that Chris has had a little bit of a struggle with over this prolonged slump. I mean, home runs aren't a problem.
Here is Hardy with a runner at first base. Only 1 down. Hardy will take the pitch for his strike. Hardy's faced Samaja before, has had 3 at-bats against him and has gone 0 for 3. Starts out this section of the season hitting .280, 3 home runs, 26 RBIs for him. JJ played straight up in the infield at double play depth. And again, that will work towards the outside corner, but will miss. And the count goes to 1-1 on Hardy with Manny Machado waiting on deck. Orioles know how important this is. They arrived here yesterday, literally came to the ballpark and took batting practice, fielding practice. Looked a lot like spring training, in fact. Runner goes, hit the run, check swing, foul back. So Buck Showalter not wasting any time. He sends Chris Davis.
Yeah, one of those maybe a run and hit where you just start the runner. Somebody's eventually going to have to cover. Perino was the second baseman because Hardy still, even though he's hit a lot of balls to right field, they pretty much play him as a pull hitter. A couple of steps in center field and left center. So
if Davis goes again, just in case, throw over will be made by Samaja. His numbers lefty righties this year. Samaja's left-handers 248, right-handers only 229 against him. He's given up 8 home runs and 6 of those been hit by the left-handers. They've had the better numbers. Setup is outside. Runner does go. Here's the throw down. It's a one-hopper, and they got him. Davis took a slide, and he wasn't near the bag. He tried to crawl in, but couldn't do it. Perino had the baseball. Norris, who's thrown out only 12%, will get credit on the caught stealing.
yeah, again, not a great jump, and right here it's almost like it's a hit and run, but there's 2 strikes. But really nice play by Perino. Watch him come in and short harp this ball. Not a great throw. You can see why. And then the crash landing. A little bit early and then trying to get around and never really gets to the bag till after the tag.
Thank goodness he wasn't hurt on that. So now there are 2 down, nobody on. And Hardy with the 2-2 delivery. Smashes pitch to him is going to be outside. And the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes for J.J. Hardy. 3 hits, 11 at bats against the A's in the opening series, where these 2 teams shared home runs, 4 apiece at Camden Yards. That'll be a base hit into left field. Cespedes will come over to get it, and Hardy is on. The Orioles 2 singles in the inning, and listen to this from Machado.
Running in the 7th position, third baseman, number 13, Manny Machado.
The fans came out fully intending to let Machado know they haven't forgotten. We can't show you all the signs they brought, but they brought them. So Manny up, 3-game hit streak for him as he comes into this game. Runner on at first, Hardy not going anywhere, and the pitch will be in there for a strike throw.
Well, it does bring people to the ballpark.
Yep.
And if you're Smarza, all you're worrying about is, okay, how do I get a guy out that's been red hot? 15 for his last 31. And
Manny Machado hitting .484 in July. A couple of home runs. Throw over. Hardy not going anywhere, right on the bag. For Manny in the series, Jimmy, went 2 for 10. He had a home run RBI in that series in Baltimore. Samaja's delivery to him, and that will miss low.
Yeah, totally different hitter from what I see, and that's because one of the great strengths that Manny had last year on his way to 51 doubles is he could use every inch of the field. And when you see him starting to do that again, just picking up the ball, and again, the knee injury, missed the first 26 games of the year.
He'll take a cut on a pitch down and away.
Yeah, pretty good breaking ball. It was so good you didn't want to put it in play if you're Manny. Couldn't do much with that.
You can see why the right-handers struggle against him with that cutter, slider, whichever it is, and then the split that goes the same way. It looks like it's a strike and ends up way outside. See where Norris is set up? Again, they were trying to get him to bite on that pitch, and he wouldn't do it.
No, the other thing is he throws 95, so he's got deception, he's got velocity, he's got movement, he's got 3 pitches, almost 4.
He has pitched against Toronto, got a win, a run on 4 hits and 7. Had a game against Seattle, complete game loss where he gave up 3 runs, 5 hits over 8. Manny will put it in the air to left field. Cespedes going back near the warning track is there and will put it away. So no runs on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 2nd, no score. joining the O's Bird's Nest. Join the conversation, OsBirdsNest.com. And today's bonus code Pierce. Enter that before midnight tonight to receive 2 bonus tokens and be entered to win the monthly autographed player photo of the year-end prize of tickets to opening day next year. That's OsBirdsNest.com. So Donaldson will stand in, the all-star third baseman who had a tremendous start to the season and has cooled off. He was hitting .280 at the end of May. Since then, .177. Tillman's delivery to him, and that'll be taken for a strike on the outside corner.
With big-time power. Yeah, you're right. 271, 281. 15 of those home runs in those first 2 months.
The delivery by Tillman. Donaldson will take that one. It's going to be away, bounced off the plate. The A's have some players who have really unusual numbers in that regard. Guys whose averages are not that high but have produced either or home runs and RBIs. Donaldson is one of those. Among the players with 50 or more RBIs this year, Josh Donaldson's got the 3rd lowest batting average at .238.
Yeah, the one thing they do, and as you look down, is they hit well with runners in scoring position, even much higher than their averages.
That pitch will be taken outside, and of course they're always up there in on-base percentage, getting people on and moving them around, typical of A's teams. That has not gone away.
Yeah, they lead the American League in walks, so they're 3rd in on-base percentage. Angel number 1, and then the Tigers 2.
That'll be fouled off the catcher, Joseph. 3 ball, 2 strike count on Donaldson. Vogt, and then Lowry will be due up in the inning for the A's. Orioles infield shifted a little bit. They put Jonathan Scope a bit behind second base. The delivery by Tillman, and that's right where he hits it. On a big one hopper, and but for the shift, he's got a single. And how many times can that be said this year on so many at-bats?
Well, the Orioles know that he's got great power because the home run he hit off Wei and Chen in Baltimore was to right center. Now, this is a bullet. And this is exactly what, if you're Chris Tillman, you don't want to walk him. He got behind him 3-1. Good swing on the 3-1 fastball and actually hit that ball real well, but right at his second baseman. One thing about Jonathan Scope, yeah, maybe it's a little struggle in his first year in the big leagues with a bat, but not with a glove.
Loves playing defense and does it well. Stephen Vogt up. Tillman's pitch to him outside for Vogt on the season against the Orioles. 2 for 10 in that opening segment. Infield will shift the other way around on him, and the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. A's have won 8 of their last 11 ball games. However, they do come off a series before the All-Star break where they lost 2 of 3 at Seattle. That one put up in the air, right center field. Ball not traveling out there. Jones comes over and makes the catch. Vogt is retired. Put the tag on your tweets for your chance to win a meet and greet with Buck Showalter from Masson. Just follow Masson on Twitter. Use hashtag MassonOrioles in your tweets all week long to be entered to win. 2 down, bases are empty. Lowry coming up. Lowry is a switch hitter, scooping up ground balls at short for this team. Tillman's fastball will miss for a ball, maybe a little bit high on that one. Lowry's hitting .215 right and .248 left. 3 of his 4 home runs have been hit from this side of the plate. Delivery to him, and that'll catch the high strike on the inside corner.
Yeah, one of those guys that even though the average isn't where it was last year, where he hit .290, I mean, he had a nice year, 16 home runs, but does have a 9-game hit streak going.
Off the end of the bat. Had him fooled on location that time. He was looking for a pitch closer in. Ended up just kind of fouling that one off with a half swing. Good pitch by Tillman. 2 down, bases empty. Lowry's got a 2 for 5 lifetime off Chris. Orioles starter coming in with that 6-0 road record despite that 5.2 ERA. Towards the hole, Scope over. Tough throw, and he gets it. Nice play. So Jonathan Scope with a couple of nice plays at second base for the Orioles. He completed 2 here, no score. Teams opening up a 3-game set here tonight. The Orioles won the series last year, winning 5 out of 7. The first time the Orioles won an A's series since 1998, and they went 3-1 here in Oakland. Caleb Joseph, the Orioles catcher, will be leading it off. Jonathan Scope, and then Nick Markakis at the top of the order for the Orioles. Joseph will wait while the shift is employed. Perino, the second baseman, moving over to the shortstop side of the bag. Savage's delivery. That'll be in there for his strike. Joseph has done a great job, obviously, for the Orioles, and seemingly the bat picking up for him as he's gained a little experience and relaxed a little bit. 273 in the month of July with a home run. He'll send that one back, and that's going to be out of play.
Yeah, he'd like to get to 200, and again, quality at bats, occasional power, 3 home runs. But you're right, it was well announced early. You better be able to catch to help this club.
I want to welcome those of you watching the National Brewers game. Brewers winning it 4-2. Loesch over Strasburg in that one. Rodriguez getting the save, and that hit him. So Joseph is going to go down. Joseph taking that one off the jersey, and that is the 8th hit batter that Samaja has this year. Jeff Samaja making the start for the A's, his 3rd start with them. His line, Chris Tillman for the Orioles. Tillman career 1-0 mark and a great ERA. Nobody has scored here. We're in the top of the 3rd inning.
Well, again, we showed the lineup. It's just a splitter that gets the back edge of his uniform, and there's no hesitation at all.
Jonathan Scope batting 9th in the order, and the pitch will be taken away for a ball.
And you're kind of wondering when you come to play the A's, we told you that really low ERA at 2.88, and they do score a bunch of runs, but when you're going to get to their pitching staff, you got to take advantage. I mean, first guy on, he gets hit, maybe you poke a single somewhere, get a 1st and 3rd.
That one in the air to left field. Cespedes coming in, long run. He'll get there. Dropped it. Got a force at second base, and they're going to get it. Tough break for the Orioles. Cespedes looked as though he had that lined up. He got it in the glove and just plain old dropped it. And Joseph is forced out on a 7-4.
Well, he actually went more than halfway. So, I mean, he's in position. And again, he's coming hard. He gets a good run, a jump on it, and then he just muffs it. It's almost like the glove got in the middle of his face. But again, this guy has 11 assists, and the ball comes up perfectly.
Boy, that's a break.
Last thing you want to do is get doubled up. So he's kind of turned. I mean, he was literally 2/3 of the way down. So
Cespedes with that great arm. He got everything on that one. Here's Nick Markakis, runner at first now, 1 away. what I mean is he's got another assist on a play where he should have been charged with an error. Instead, he drops the ball, gets an out at second base, picks up his 12th assist as an outfielder, and the Orioles end up with a fielder's choice for Jonathan Scope, who's at first base with one away. Nick Markakis flied out to left his first time up, and way up high. Base runners need to beware. Samaja's outstanding, but he will be a little wild sometimes. I mean, he's hit 8 batters and he's got 6 wild pitches on the season, which would figure with the splitter.
Yeah, splitter and the hard slider.
So you might have a chance to gain a base. You get that little extra step you can take off on a wild pitch. That one's going to be way outside.
Yeah, he's a little bit underneath things today, and that's why the ball's up in the zone a little bit, and that's maybe why he's running left to right. And that's how he hit Joseph. Maybe not able to get on top of the splitter to this point.
Overall ERA 2.78 for Samaja. That is good enough for 14th overall in the major. Markakis will go to left field. Cespedes again. It's a big ballpark. If you're going to drive one out of here, you really got to nail it. You probably got to go to right field. It's time for all fans to tweet their photo using hashtag #MASSandFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T.
Yeah, you got to have pretty good power to go to the opposite field. Reggie Jackson could do it. Reggie did end up at Cooperstown. He doesn't live too far from here, but I don't know where he is tonight.
He'll head to Cooperstown next week.
Yeah.
He pitches there to Pierce. Pierce popped out his first time up. Orioles coming in with that 4-game lead. Toronto will update you on that. New York and the Boston games when they are done. We'll take a look at what's happened in the earlier games affecting the American League East today. That's going to be a broken bat spinner to second base. Moreno's got it, makes the play at first, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left on base. Bottom of the third coming up. No score. For beautiful new carpet, hardwood, and laminate, call 877-241-LUNA. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you. Across the bay from San Francisco. Oakland never wants itself put that way, so let's just say we're in Oakland at the Coliseum. Big crowd on hand here for this ball game tonight. The opening of 3. We'll be right back here with you tomorrow night. As has happened all year, you get 3 different start times in this series. It'll be Wei-Yin Chen and former Oriole Jason Hamill tomorrow. Kevin Gossman will be on the mound. Sonny Gray in the Sunday game. It'll be a 9:05 start, so 8:30 O's extra tomorrow. 9 o'clock for the game, and then 3:30 on Sunday O's extra, 4 o'clock for the game. No score in this one as Tillman will work to Norris. The catcher, Derek Norris, 0 for his last 11. And he will take the pitch on the inside corner. Perino and then Chris at the top of the order. Good numbers.
Yeah, well, made the All-Star team. But the one number that jumps out, 373, if you get him to the plate with somebody in scoring position. Monster number.
Off-speed breaking ball is going to miss outside. He's already established a career high with 37 RBIs that he has picked up this season. Largest differential in baseball, runs scored, runs surrendered, belongs to the A's. They've outscored opponents by 145 runs.
Yeah, that's an amazing number.
That's the largest at the All-Star break since the Angels had a +89 number back in '89. I mean, that's just enormous.
Yeah, well, that was Chili Davis right there with Bob Melvin over his shoulder, and then Chip Hale, the bench coach, and then you got your pitching coach Curt Young, who 2012 went to the Red Sox for a year with Bobby Valentine, and then came back here. He's done a marvelous job over the years. And then Billy Beane, he just gets guys like Norris. You get him out of the Nats organization. I mean, you look at their whole lineup with a couple of exceptions up this whole 25-man. So there's what we were talking about.
Well, just nice 5 number. Teams since 1940 with a run differential of 139 or better. The Orioles, the leader, that was in '69 at 168.
Now, is that at the All-Star break or for the season?
At the All-Star break. Yeah. That one is tagged center field. Jones got a long run, 400 feet.
Yep.
And he's going to be shy of the wall. That's how big this park is, because Norris hit that hard.
How many national parks do they have in California? Because you could probably throw this right there with the list. That ball was belted.
That's a long, long way.
I mean, he hits it really well, and then he just let the Gold Glover run it down.
Now you've got the marine layer coming in, which pushes balls down. The wind has been swirling here tonight behind the batting cage. The wind was blowing in just prior to the game starting, so the conditions are not ripe for balls to be hit out of the ballpark. Lefties need to pull them. They've got the best chance, because that's an area in the ballpark where it may carry. Here is Perino, who is doing the job at second base, while the A's trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to get Zobrist from Tampa Bay to play second base for him. But talking to some of the people today who are doing the dealing, they couldn't even move the best prospects they're willing to give up for price, so they figure they're probably not going to be able to cut a deal on Zobrist either. They are missing their Alberto Callaspo is probably their best option at second base. He's got a hamstring problem, should be back by the end of the month, and he'll be back at second base when he returns.
Yeah, well, Nick Putu, 5 for his last 46, and then Eric Sogard, we've seen him over the years. He's 4 for 35, both right around 114 to 109. So that's why they are struggling. And even Perino, he was actually picked up on waivers by the Rangers early spring training, and then back at April 21st or something like that, Billy Beane went back and got him out of the Rangers organization. So. And yet they still scored 145 more runs than the opposition.
Perino just came up from AAA last Saturday for his second stint with the big club, and he will put another one into the seats. He's an infielder, outfielder. I mean, he's one of those super utility guys. He's had a start in left field for this ball club. He was doing well at AAA, hitting .302 in the 68 games he played at Sacramento. He had 7 home runs, 41 RBIs. Straight away on him, outfield in a couple of steps, and the pitch is right there. Tillman's picking up the strikeout. Chris wanted to go to the dugout, but there is going to be a third out required.
Well, that's the West Coast effect. Right on the outside corner or somewhere close. I think Jerry Meals is one of those guys that has a pretty ample strike zone. You can see it right there. Why not take advantage of it?
Jerry's been noted over the years as favoring the pitchers, and that's what's happening tonight as far as his strike zone is concerned. Top of the order here is Coco Crisp. He flied out his first time to the plate. They are happy to have Crisp back in the lineup, like everybody in the majors. Injuries have rerouted the lineups for this ball club from time to time. Crisp missed the last 4 games before the All-Star break, and now back in. He's hitting .353 over the last 32 games, and that one's a bouncer. He ranks 6th in the American League in on-base percentage. Good leadoff batter.
Yeah, well, he had a career high 22 home runs last year, but the neck was the problem this time. That's why I missed those 4 games that you mentioned. And there's what you're talking about, red hot. I mean, he really ignites this team because he plays every day when he's healthy. I mean, he's the guy, along with Gentry, 16 steals apiece.
And the off-speed delivery had him leaning. It is going to be in there for a strike. He was so far out in front on his stride that there was nothing he could do with that pitch.
Well, that's the first curveball that Chris Tillman's been able to get in the zone tonight. So at least past history will show he'll keep, because he's got a changeup to come behind another off-speed pitch. He'll keep trying to work it into the mix.
Fouled off as he went for the outside part of the plate. Chris went all the way across it after he took a swing on that one.
Yeah, you really have to be careful from what I've seen with Coco Chris, because you know he's a contact hitter, high on base percentage guy at .387. You know, if he gets on, a single can be a double, but if you try to go in, that's when he gets real quick. And as you mentioned, here you want to give up a home run, let a left-hander hit it down the line. You want to stay away from that if you can.
Tillman with a 1-ball 2-strike count. Coco Crisp with a shift on against him in the infield. Outfield actually plays the other way, and he'll just get enough of that to foul it back. Looking for his first hit against Tillman. He's 0 for 7 lifetime against the Orioles starter. For Chris Tillman, in the ball games that he has pitched here, he's got that 1 win here in this ballpark against the A's. 1-0 lifetime against them. 2.61 ERA here in this ballpark. And Chris will save his at bat with a funky little swing. Ball coming in on him and somehow got a piece of.
Another big overhand curveball, and it's a good sign when Chris Tillman can incorporate this for strikes. It's kind of a 2-part swing, to be quite honest, where you try to stay back, your rear end's already kind of headed down to the first base coach, and you're able to foul it off. There's another one.
That one bounces 3 feet out in front. So Chris takes it, working it here, and that's something else he does well. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes on Chris. The outfield moves in 2 or 3 steps in both left and center, and they move over, playing him to take the ball the other way in the air. So you see the infield shifted to the right, the outfield shifted to the left, and Chris taking off a little piece of equipment there. One of the guards on his ankle may have broken. He hands it off.
Well, if the count goes to 3-2, they better move back a couple of steps, because you don't want to walk him. You still got one more pitch to work with right here.
And Chris will go the other way, and he's got a base hit. Perfectly placed. Pierce will get it back in. Crisp is on. That's the second hit off Tillman, and it comes with 2 down. Time's running out for your chance to back the Birds during the second half of the season. Enjoy major savings on your Birdland Summer 6-pack. Ticket 26 games, your choice. Remainder of the year, save up to 20% off the cost of single game tickets. You can lock in your seats now for the games you'd most like to see. Go to Orioles.com/6-pack. Jaso coming up, a strikeout victim. His first time up. Chris Bond at first base. Let's see whether or not Melvin wants to go to the running game. Nobody runs against Tillman. 1 time. Runner was thrown out. Joseph, of course, behind the plate, has thrown out 52% of base stealers, so that's a tough combo to run on.
Yeah, it's really, if you're Bob Melvin and you're managing the A's, you're saying, okay, you know, Tillman, we know his numbers. How do we get a guy into scoring position? High percentage, 87% of the time. Crisp has been effective, and he's getting in one of those running leads. But there's just something about, I think, Chris Tillman, he holds the ball well. He will throw over. He'll vary his move to the plate. He'll slide step, which is where you just slide the front leg instead of the leg kick. So
16 out of 20.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's got a green light if he thinks he can go. Kind of up to him as to whether or not it feels he's got the lead. He was standing in the bag as Tillman flew over.
Well, the other thing we've seen Caleb Joseph, if the count gets evened or you get ahead in the count, if talking about his pitcher, has a tendency to cheat a little bit. That's why he's been able to throw out so well.
Briska's got his attention, not running, and the pitch is going to be inside. So a 2-ball, 1 strike count on Jaso. DH, a lot of power in the number 2 spot, and you've got Jaso there, especially with that left-handed bat. Left-handers 270 off Tillman, right-handers 232. 12 home runs, 6 from each side of the plate. That's in the dirt, gets away. Chris will get the second. Wild pitch. 5th wild pitch of the year by Tillman, puts a runner in scoring position.
No, he just bounces it, and I mean, it looks like a changeup. And that's a ball that a lot of times Caleb Joseph will keep in front of him. The minute he doesn't, you can see the result. And the number that jumps out, I mean, 11 for 60, Jaso with runners in scoring position, under 200.
Buck 83.
Yeah.
He's got a runner at second right here. And the pitch is going to go to the gap. You can raise that by a point. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Jaso's on his way to second. Jones will get it back in. Chris scores, and the A's are on the board, leading at 1-0.
Well, the count has so much to do with it. Needed to throw him a strike. He's waiting. Chris, who had a tremendous at bat, went to second on the wild pitch. Probably would have scored anyway on this double. But pretty much center cut down the middle, and then he finds a gap. So if you're John Jaso and you're saying, how can I improve the second half or the second part of the season, it's doing exactly what he did, coming in at 183.
29 RBIs for Jaso on the season, and the A's get the 1-0 lead. Now Cespedes, who picked up a single his first time up, wild and cut on a pitch down and away. Cespedes had not had a hit in his last 19 at bats before the All-Star break, so he's gotten that taken care of with the base hit he had with 2 out in the first inning.
Yeah, not only the base hit, Gary, it's how he got it. Yeah, he went the other way. So he stayed it on, let the ball travel a little bit.
Cespedes 276 with runners in scoring position, and that time same pitch, but he wouldn't bite at it. For Cespedes here in this big ballpark this season, he's been able to put the ball out 9 times. He's had 9 home runs at home and 5 on the road. Batting average about 30 points higher on the road with the home run advantage here in Oakland. And that pitch again, same location, and again he takes it, and the count goes to 2-1. Exciting player, great arm, outstanding power, clearly loves to play. Was one of 5 Cuban-born players at the All-Star game this year, second highest total ever at an All-Star game for players who were born in Cuba. And that one is going to be a called strike, seemingly about the same place the other 3 were.
You know, a couple of change-ups, a low fastball, and this one you could be the judge, and right around the knees, and looked like it might have had the plate.
Pitch by Tillman as he works it in just enough to get the strike called. Jaso, good lead at second. Orioles not trying to hold him close. Cespedes down to third. Manny Machado's got it from foul territory, guns it, and will get the out. So Machado gets it done on a good play on Cespedes, but a run in on 2 hits with a base runner left on, and the A's up 1-0. University College, August 13, 1969. Man sitting next to me off the DL 4 days earlier. Season high 6 walks, but would throw his first and only no-hitter against the A's at Memorial Stadium. And the last time an Orioles pitcher threw a complete game no-hitter, that one by Jim. Remember that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I kind of recall that. Yeah. Kind of remember it.
What do you remember most?
Billy Hunter, third base coach, sent me on a very short, I was at third, sent me in on a sacrifice fly. Dave Duncan got the ball about 20 feet before I got to home plate. And I tried to, I wasn't going to run into him. I had a no-hitter going. Anyway, I tried to catch to the outside corner and he flipped me. And when I landed, well, yeah, because I was in the air, it wasn't whatever. And I kind of did almost a somersault and landed on my heel.
Oh, my gosh.
So I somehow got through the game. I did walk the bases loaded in the ninth inning because, well, I had to get to somebody who could get out, and that was Larry Haney.
What? See?
Well, Larry used to play for us, so I kind of knew him, yeah.
Adam Jones leading it off here against Samaja, and he'll take the pitch inside. He drew Donaldson in for a bit just to he squared around. Donaldson doesn't believe it, so he backs up and moves away. Outfield deep on Adam, Cruz and Davis to follow. Samaja's delivery to third base. Donaldson's got it. High tag, got him. Well, is he all right? He hit him on the head, and Adams taking a long walk over there.
Well, that's how you hurt the ankle, the hamstring, not to mention the melon. Donaldson's throw a little bit off and then tags him, I don't know, back of the shoulder, and that's what I was talking about when he almost goes down. I'm trying to alter. You can see him going a little bit right, and then that left foot hits the front of the bag.
Doesn't look good.
No, got him on the top of the shoulder.
Walked off as though he is okay. So one down. Here is Cruz, and he will take the pitch for a strike. For the A's, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. The Orioles, no run on 2 hits and no errors. Samaja, first start against the Orioles. Cruz on the swing will foul that one off the other way. Nelson hoping to continue what was the fantastic first part of the year, as he was a huge surprise for the Orioles in Major League Baseball, going to the All-Star game, winning the DH vote, and deservedly so. Certainly an MVP candidate through at least the first portion of the season. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. He is the second best average on the road starting this part of the year at 346. He's done real damage outside of Camden Yards. Samaja, though, is going to get him on that one, his second strikeout.
Yeah, really good splitter, and get the 2 strikes. Where can I go? Nelson, a real good high ball hitter. I'll take a little bit off. I'll try to locate. Ball just plummets. Good splitter. It looks like a fastball, but you don't see the tumbling action. Tumbles right out of the strike zone.
Well, Samaja retires a couple here in the 4th inning. He gets leadoff batters over 80% of the time starting an inning, which is a big number. Chris Davis with a big cut. Chris had a single the other way his first time up, and then was thrown out on an attempted steal, which was in a hit and run or run and hit situation. 0-1 count, 2 down, and the pitch taken down low. In the first series these two teams played, batting average about the same for both. The A's, though, averaged 6 runs in those 3 games. The Orioles 3. And the pitch will be taken inside. We'll see whether or not this 3-game set here proves to be one about pitching or hitting. You got to believe it's about pitching. You got the top starters going coming out of the All-Star break, and you're in a ballpark that is definitely pitcher friendly.
Yeah, it's almost when you come out of the All-Star game like the postseason, where you get to match up, set up your pitchers unless they happen to pitch in the All-Star game. And even now, it used to be where games that I started, you pitch 3 innings. I did that 3 times. Now it's maybe an inning. So that's what we saw in the All-Star game. So guys can come back a little bit sooner. Maybe not on Friday, but certainly over the weekend.
3-1 delivery on the way. Chris tried to go the other way again. Will foul that one off. Take a look at the numbers for Chris on a month-by-month basis this year and his career numbers. They kind of speak for themselves.
Well, it's been a struggle. The league has adjusted and he's struggled.
3-2 delivery, and he got him swinging. 3 strikeouts, 2 in the inning for Samaja. Retires the side in order. The A's on top, 1-0. Season, will it continue? One of the worst offensive years in Major League Baseball history. The runs per game right now would be the worst since '92. The batting average would be the worst since '72. The on-base percentage would be the lowest since '72. The slugging average would be the lowest since '92. The home runs would be the lowest since '92. And the strikeouts per game on pace to be the highest in Major League history. As has happened over the last few years, each year the offense goes down, down, down.
Yeah, I think the strikeouts, obviously, guys, a little different approach, trying to hit home runs. And from the runs scored per game, apparently they're not doing it as much as they would like.
Oh.
Well, that kind of plays into the hands of the pitcher when they don't make contact.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like a classic case of the obvious and one of Buck Showalter's favorite phrases, but if you strike out, nothing happens.
And a lot of that's going on. Here's Brandon Moss. He lined out his first time up. Shift put on against him. Tillman's delivery. He had one he wanted to drive right there and fouls it back. Moss, Donaldson, and Vogt coming up. Brandon Moss had a couple of hits and 11 at-bats in the series in Baltimore, including 1 home run. He had 4 RBIs in that opening series these two teams played. That one is a towering pop-up to shallow center. Jones has plenty of time to get under it and will make the catch. One away here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And it is a pitcher's game so far.
Yeah, Chris Tillman saying I better get him out here, and then they have not been scoring a lot of runs. Last 2 years, over 5 runs in each of the games. This year, a little bit over 4. But yet to lose on the road. And the offense might have something to say about that tonight.
Donaldson grounded out his first time up. Goes after that one. It fouls it off outside of third base. Takes some big cuts.
Well, he does. And 24 home runs last year, 20 already this year. I was talking to Chili Davis, the hitting instructor. He said it started with the Manny Machado, whatever you want to call that, fracas in Baltimore, but it was also the fact that Josh was leading the American League in votes as a third baseman, and he felt that maybe he was trying a little bit too hard, trying to be better than he needed to be.
Would be human nature.
Yeah, I am leading the league in votes. Hey, I need to do even a little bit better. And after the first 2 months, and you mentioned it, what, 271 with 7 home runs, 281 with 8. It's a nice little start. Why change anything?
Yep. Joseph sets up away. Donaldson grounds it towards third, and that one will be fouled off as well. Josh Donaldson, you see the numbers this season as the situations get tougher. He has gotten better. Runner in scoring position, 302 number, but look at that 177 he's had over a month. And just able to catch up to that fastball at 91 and foul it straight back. Count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he really does mirror this ball club, it seems like. And again, this is a team that, they won 96 games last year. They know how to win. It seems like they're able to focus on when the.
And did he go? Yes. Home plate umpire Jerry Meals isn't even going to ask.
Yeah,
he's
Paul
making
Emmel.
the call himself.
Yeah. And Paul Emmel down. He didn't give him a sign, but he's agreeing with it. And Bob Melvin doesn't like this. This is a double if he makes contact. I may bat way out in front of home plate. They got that call right.
Two down. Stephen Vogt coming up. He flied out to center field his first time up. You'll see a lot of this going on now in this remainder of the season. I mean, it's crunch time already. These teams know every at bat, every pitch matters. Orioles trying to maintain that lead in the East. They have it by 4. The A's are only a game and a half up on an Angels team that refuses to go away. The Angels gone 10-1 in their last 11 games. The Angels have not been closer to the A's than a game and a half since opening day, and it's a game and a half difference right now.
And they play each other 10 more times too.
So, and Oakland's not been in second place since April 23, so they've held on to this lead but have not been able to increase it.
Yeah, don't think that the American League teams that are behind the Orioles aren't looking at the scoreboard and know that the Orioles are out west, because with the exception of Tampa Bay, who's winning tonight, they're 11 back, and of course what they have about 10-11 days. We're going to trade David Price. We're going to get back in the race, whatever. When you come out here to play and you're not out here and you're Tampa Bay and you're winning, they just won 6-2. You're going, okay, it's not easy to win out here.
That ball is going to be fouled back. Keeps the at bat alive for Vogt, as Tillman has given up only 3 hits in the ball game. RBI double by Jaso came in the third. Crisp had singled with 2 down and got to second on a wild pitch. Then Jaso drove one into the right center field gap, and that's the only run on the board. That ball is going to be off the fist towards center. Adam Jones moves over into the gap and puts it away in a 1-2-3 inning. That's 6 in a row retired by Tillman. A's on top 1-0. On Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by visitannapolis.org. Find it here. Beautiful sunset. Take a look over the bay. San Francisco, of course, on the other side. Here in Oakland, 27,232 the announced attendance tonight. 27,232. Looks like it might be even more than that, but they're really spread out here in the ballpark. Samaja has given up only a couple of hits in the game, 2 singles. They were in the second inning, Davis and Hardy. That has been it. The Orioles have not gotten a runner into scoring position. Pitch will be taken up high. Hardy had that base hit. It'll be Hardy, Machado, and Joseph.
Yeah, not a lot of pitches to hit, to drive. A couple of sliders that stayed up. JJ went down and got a slider singled into left.
1-1 delivery, right on the helmet. Oh my!
Well, again, when you talked about how wild he is. He's a leg swinger, obviously very successful. And Buck Showalter's going to come out here, and because anytime you get hit in the helmet, even if it's the back of the helmet, that's a good thing. If you're going to get hit in the head, you want to. And Richie Van Zell's the Oriole trainer out there saying, "Hey, there are certain concussive things you go through." So again, it looked like a splitter, but you can hear the sound.
Ooh. Well, we told you Samaja's hit 2 batters in this game. That's 9 on the year. And you saw Hardy head out of the batter's box quickly. Good sign. And he will stay in. And here's Manny Machado. Machado flied out to left, hit the ball hard, sent Cespedes back near the warning track. So Hardy leadoff man on for the Orioles, and a strike on the inside corner. Both leadoff batters the Orioles have had on have been hit batters. Joseph led off the 3rd inning. Now Hardy leads off the 5th. Infield at double play depth, not a big lead for Hardy at first, being held by Vogt. Samaja's delivery, and that'll be a base hit into right field. Went the other way. Moss up. Runner will stop at second, and the Orioles get the first 2 on here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, well, that's when Manny is hitting well. Mentioned that the first time, and as you mentioned, 484 in the month of July. I mean, he's hitting rockets into right field, and it's a pretty good pitch until he swings at it. A little breaking ball that stays up, so you need a little easier leverage to get to it, and then because it hits so hard and Brandon Moss throws so well, you stop at second.
It's his 16th hit to right field. He's got 29 to left and 22 to center. So as Jim says, he's sprinkling them around. So now there are 2 on. Big chance for the Orioles. Here's Joseph, hit by a pitch his first time up. Infield looking for a bunt as they are playing in at first and third. Caleb Joseph has shown he can put the ball down. Joseph has 3 sacrifice hits. David Lowe leads the Orioles with 4.
And of course, Bob Melvin of the A's has that scouting report, depth at bunting. A lot of managers don't like to bunt with guys because they can't bunt.
Not bunting, and he fouls it back.
But when I first came to the big leagues, my first manager was Hank Bauer. I played on one of the great high ball hitters, and he a lot of times would let in these situations, whether you're a pitcher or a catcher, hit, because he figured maybe you get that one fastball, and Caleb Joseph just got it but fouled it off.
Hardy's on at second base. Manny Machado at first. They're still playing for the bunt. And Samaja backs off. That includes Vogt at first base. You see he's moved in. He'll try, if the ball is put down his way, to make a throw over to third. If Joseph bunts, he obviously wants to bunt it towards third. Get Donaldson to play it. Trying to hold the runner. Lowry, the shortstop, at second. Here they come from the corners. He did show bunt. That got through. I think may have hit the umpire, and it drops down. He did not call a strike on that.
Yeah,
ball strike out.
Ball a little bit low, and I guess if you're Buck Showalter, Orioles skipper, you're saying, okay, he gets definitely out of the way, and the ball just hits the glove and goes by him. But what kind of strategy I want to do? A big ballpark, yeah, we hit home runs, but it's hard to do here. Are we going to play small ball? And it appears that's what they're going to do.
Still could bunt here, 2-1. Does not. Ground ball short. He just moved back. There's one relay. They turn the double play. Lowry had been holding the runner, and just as the pitch was going to be delivered, he went way back to his shortstop position, further than he had gone on the previous pitches, and he had it absolutely right.
Now, we always talk about trusting your stuff, and that's what Samardzija does. You know, just a moving fastball gets the routine double play. But with one pitch, it looks like you're in trouble. And you still got the potential of tying run at third with 2 outs.
And a guy who's capable of throwing one to the backstop. And there's a lot of room here in foul territory. Here is Scope. Get into a fielder's choice his first time up. Pitch will be taken away for a ball. Jonathan hitting .232 with runners in scoring position. The Orioles getting their first runner into such a position here in the 5th inning. First time in the ball game. That is Hardy at third base. Potential tying run with the A's up. Scope will take it outside. Samardzija trying to get out of this inning after the Orioles got the first 2 on. With runners in scoring position. Opponent batting average against Samardzija's .217.
Yeah, league average around what, 260, 259. It's well under that mark.
Scope will take it, and again it's going to be down low, and he won't go after those pitches. And the top of the order, Nick Markakis, left-hander, waiting on deck.
So Nick is what, 12 for his last 51. Do you let the rookie swing away 3-0? I would imagine not.
Nope. 3-0 count with 2 down. Hardy off third. And he's taking all the way, and it's in there for a strike. You want Samardzija to throw as many pitches as you can get him to throw here and hope he might bury one.
Well, he almost did on the 2-1 or the 2-0 pitch.
3 ball, 1 strike count. See if he goes back to that outside corner or a little further out. Came in.
Ooh, big swing. Well, you can see again, he goes to another level at the 96, the last couple of fastballs. So there you go. I mean, the Mariners right with the Athletics, 2 best pitching teams in the American League. Orioles number is pretty good.
Very good. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Hardy off third base. Jonathan Scope waiting, and he'll foul it back. Scope's going to keep it alive and work Samardzija a little more. The 63 pitches thrown so far. Samardzija has walked none. He has struck out 3. Same thing with Tillman. He's walked none and has 3 Ks. Hardy, who started the inning up being hit by a pitch, hoping to score from third. Set up away. Samardzija's delivery, and again fought off.
Yeah, that's a really good slider. Nice job of even putting that ball in play or fouling it off. Well, kind of game if you're Jeff Samardzija, you're not going to certainly give in. If you don't make your pitch, you end up walking Scope, so you've already got Markakis out twice. You just cannot give in a 1-0 ball game.
Here's the 3-2 delivery again, and that one hit in the air to left field. Sussman is looking, and goodbye, home run. Jonathan Scope on a 3-2 count delivers the long ball and gives the Orioles the lead. That is his 7th home run of the season, and it's the O's 2 and the A's 1. How about that?
Well, that was the Tanaka pitch. The hanging slider that Tanaka threw Jonathan early in the season. 3-run shot up in the Yankee Stadium.
And the Orioles with a big jolt here in the 5th on that long ball take the 2-1 lead. Samardzija giving up just his 9th home run of the season. And the pitch to Markakis taken. Here's the homer.
Well, he fouls off the good slider. Check this one out. It just stays up, filters back into the zone, speeds up the bat, And one thing about Jonathan Schoop, when you speed the bat up and he gets to pull the ball, home run power.
And Markakis will foul that one off. Donaldson getting chased. A lot of room, as we said. He puts it away. But the Orioles get the lead on the home run by Schoop, and Rodney Mazik, our Maryland lottery contestant, gets $500 off that long ball. So a couple of runs on 2 hits, nobody left on. It's the O's up by 1. PNC Bank for the Achiever, and congratulations to Kristen Walker and Daryl Alvarez. Both have been moved up to AAA. They played tonight. Both had a 1 for 4. Those are the numbers that they had with Bowie that allowed them to be moved up.
Yeah, and that's what you want. I mean, again, it's another classic case of the obvious. You want your young players to play well, but you want them to be moved up because they earned it. And it looks to me that both of these have done it. 4th round Christian Walker draft choice. So a lot of home runs. I don't care if it's AA, and then Alvarez out of Cuba, another fine year. So now you go a little different up in Norfolk, only because the park's so much bigger. But now they get to see a little bit better pitching.
So Chris Tillman goes back to the mound, this time with a lead of 2-1. At bottom of the 5th inning, Lowry, Norris, and Perino will be due up for the A's. Jonathan Schoop in his first ball game played in this ballpark. He'd never played here before. Gets the home run. That ball he had to wait on, popped it up. Hardy will have the angle. And he'll have the baseball. Lowry is retired, one away in the 5th. The Orioles return home on Tuesday, July 29. You believe that? July 29. To begin a 3-game series with the Angels. That evening, don't miss the season's next Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. Every Tuesday home game, all upper reserve seats only $9. So celebrate the second half of the year at Camden Yards and Oriole Park. 888-848-BIRD for tickets. Here is Derek Norris, their catcher, flying out to center field. His first time up. A's team has done well against Eastern Division ball clubs. They are 16-10 overall against the East in their own division. A's are 22-16. Have that 59 win mark to lead the majors. Norris went out, nobody on. Tillman's delivery to him. He'll blast that one to left field. That's way back near the wall. Goodbye, home run. Tie game. So they exchange homers. The teams do. Norris gets his 9th.
Yeah, really getting a chance to play on an everyday basis this year and taking advantage of it. Well, you look at all his minor league numbers. Came over in the Gio Gonzalez trade for the Nationals. A little hanging slider, and I mean, he's all over it. You want to speed up the bat? The slider probably about maybe 4, 5, 6 miles per hour, depending on who's throwing it. And the A's right back in the ball game on the home run.
So a couple of real shots in the inning. Jonathan Schoop and Norris doing it the way you need to do it here tonight, and that's hitting more of a line drive than a fly ball. And this game is tied. 13 home runs surrendered by Chris Tillman, 7 of those by right-handers. So the lead lasted for all of 2 outs. 1 in the Orioles half of the inning and 1 in the A's half. That'll be fouled back into the screen. Andy Perino, their second baseman, a strikeout victim his first time up. Each team 4 hits, and each team 2 runs. The A's are ranked 5th in homers coming in. That's their 99th home run of the year. The Orioles, of course, second only to Toronto. The Orioles have 115 homers on the year. 1-2. Game being played the way you would expect this series would be played. Close and tight with good pitching and a couple of home runs. I mean, that's the way these teams have played this year as teams. Scope coming up with the 2 RBI homer on the 3-2 count, and then right back at it. Norris got one to hit and didn't miss.
You know, they could hit some home runs.
Yeah. He was trying to do that right there. Joseph will put the tag on. Perino has struck out for the second time.
Yeah, you know, the curveball is such a feel and touch pitch, and right there, Chris Tillman, a couple of curveballs, and this at bat to Perino. This one just take a little bit off, stay through it. Boy, 74 miles per hour, 17 miles per hour slower than his average fastball.
Coco Crisp at the top of the order against Tillman. Crisp with a base hit, a run scored on the RBI double by Jaso. 1 for 2 in the ball game. That was his first hit off Tillman in 8 at-bats in his career. And Tillman will get the pitch in there. Again, took something off that to start him out with the first strike. Manny Machado even with a bag at third, just respecting the speed of Coco Crisp. And that one is in there for a strike. But Crisp hitting .328 here at home and .261 on the road. His batting average at home is the 8th highest in the American League for a home batting average. It's a ballpark he would like because it's so big. You can dump some doubles out there, base hits you can plop in.
Well, he doesn't overswing a whole lot. Like I said, occasionally if you miss your spot inside, he can get to the ball very quickly, and he's got one. Must do a lot of those front arm drills where he's trying to get the bat head to the ball. Chris Tillman trying to get him out. I mean, the last at bat before the single, what, about 8 or 9 pitches? Kept fouling pitches off and tried to get him out with a curveball, but he can't get it over to Coco. The deeper you get into the count, the more pitches he gets to see, and it seems like the better hitter he becomes.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and he waited on it, and there's one of those types of swings that he gets to extend his at bat. We saw about 3 of those in his first at bat.
Well, that's the point I think that batting average tells me, is that he doesn't overswing with 2 strikes. He just tries to put it in play somewhere.
Two-ball, 2-strike delivery by Tillman. Another off-speed breaking ball that bounces in the dirt. And again, Crisp able to work the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Tillman with that amazing 6-0 record on the road and a 5.2 earned run average. All the run support he gets generally comes in games played away from Camden Yards. 3-2 delivery, and he drew the walk. That's the first walk of the game.
No, just like he earned the single, he earned the walk. I mean, that wasn't a free pass. He earned it.
Takes some big at bats.
Yeah.
Piles up the pitchers for the opponent on the mound.
Well, it gets Jaso to the plate where you're not going to put the shift on, and you know he is a pull hitter. We saw him hit the double. He worked the count to what we used to see him do when he was down with Tampa Bay. Worked at the 3-1, got a fastball in the middle of the plate, and put the A's up by a run.
Jaso with the double and RBI last at bat. That ball towards left field. It's Pierce, and he's got it just shy of the track. So a run in on one hit with a base runner left on. The home run by Norris tying it up. Our do-ups for the Orioles brought to you by Honda. Steve Pierce, Adam Jones, Nelson Cruz when we come back. Of this series, we'll see Wei-Yin Chen taking the mound against former Oriole Jason Hamill. Our coverage on MASN 2 begins at 8:30 with those extra presented by Dodge, followed by our game coverage at 9. All the access you need right here on MASN.
So Wei-Yin Chen looking for his 10th win. Oakland A's are 18-8, and Jason Hamill, he comes over from the Cubs. And he has pitched well. A nice year for him. Kind of a rental for the Cubs. Trade him, get some young players. And he can reestablish himself after pitching so well in 2012 for the Orioles.
Steve Pierce will take the pitch. It'll be up from Samaja. Pierce, Jones, and Cruz. 0 for 2 for Steve. He has popped out and grounded out. And Samaja has got no walks, 3 strikeouts so far. Tillman a walk and 4 Ks. These two starters going at it here in the 6th inning. That'll just miss. Samaja thought he might have had the inside corner, stared in a little bit after the delivery. Didn't get the call. 2-1.
Well, Steve Pierce had such a great first 94 games that the league's going to adjust. And you can see right there, a little splitter, try to go softer. And right there misses. So now all of a sudden, what's he going to have to do?
Go outside corner with that one and missed it. That's that pitch we've seen that he loves to use against the right-handers, and obviously effective, be it the cutter, the slider, or the splitter that goes down and away. The Oriole hitters have done a pretty good job staying off that pitch, which has been out of the strike zone. Came back in, fought off, 3-2.
So you can see inside, 4 or 5 pitches, and the whole world knows Steve Pierce likes the ball out over the plate.
And walked him. So each pitcher now has surrendered a walk, and the Orioles get the leadoff man on for the 3rd time. And our Major League Notebook on the East Wins page, these are games that are completed now tonight. The Yankees beat the Reds 4-3. Ellsbury 2 for 4, a homer, 2 RBIs. The Rangers have beaten the Blue Jays 5-1. Darvish with the 1-run, 5 hits, and 6 2/3, getting the win. Red Sox beat the Royals 4 runs in the 6th inning to get the 5-4 win, and the Rays over the Twins. Zobrist for Tampa Bay 1 for 3, a homer, 2 walks as the Rays beat the Twins by a score of 6-2. So there's your East Wins page for the night. Meaning the Orioles have a chance, if they could win this ball game, to pick up a game on Toronto, while the Yankees, 5 games out, have won their ball game. Pierce on at first with nobody out. Jones has struck out and grounded out. For Adam, he's gone 3 for 13 with a home run against the A's this year, and that one will be fouled off the other way in the big cut. 0-1.
Yeah, one of the few hittable fastballs that Samardzich's been able to get up in the zone. Yeah, you're right. I mean, because he's 6'5" and he's a big guy, 235 somewhere in there, and throws the ball downhill. He really gets over his front side.
Pierce, not a big lead being held. Jones shattered bat, goes to third. There's one, and that's all they'll get. Pierce has his helmet taken off as he went underneath Perino, but they do get the force out, and Steve Pierce is all right. Barrel of that bat was all over the place.
Yeah, almost out where Josh Donaldson caught the ball, just to his right. So I think it just made him flinch a little bit. Watch, the throw just goes high because the bat's just to the right of him, and then the minute the throw's high, I mean, the world also knows that Steve Pierce goes into to second base. Not dirty, just very aggressively.
This is a pretty good drop kick of a helmet right there.
Yeah.
Helmet was already in the air when Perino got it. Good play by Donaldson, though, to stay focused. So now a runner on at first base, one away. Here's Cruz. He struck out and has flied out. Jones a threat to go, and there's a home run cut.
Yeah, just got it in, I think, a little bit, and I mean, big cut though.
He's trying to drive that out.
Yeah, he throws a two-seam fastball so he can run it in like he did to Adam Jones, break the bat, and then got the splitter that goes down, and when he throws the slider properly, something he didn't do to Scope, that's a ball that goes down and away, so he can pitch to both sides of the plate.
Runner not going. Cruz off his foot.
I mean, this is full tilt off his foot. Richie Bancels, Oriole head trainer. I mean, this is his best swing, right off somewhere. It's like somewhere off the instep of the left foot, or maybe the top of it. Well, I did it once off a Dean Chance and ended up pitching the rest of the game and went to dinner. Couldn't walk the next day. I just don't know how players, and I mean, obviously every one is different than other ones, but they come out and guys hit balls off their ankles.
The Cruz is trying desperately to be able to put some weight on that foot, that left foot.
Well, and that's the foot you hit off of. I mean, you push off your back leg, but you actually post on that front side. I mean, that's your stabilizing part of the swing. So when the dogs are barking, it's not easy to hit.
Says he's all right, wants to stay. He's not all right, but put a little weight on that, and it hurt. The Cruz will stand back in, count at 2 strikes. Adam Jones on at first base with Davis waiting on deck. 1 down, 2-2 ball game. Top of the 6th inning here in Oakland. Samaja ready. Jones not going. Swing, ground ball towards second base. Perino, Lowry, double play. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Couple of double plays have been turned, getting Samaja the big ground balls. Go to today, as far as the teams that made it, 2013, the Red Sox and the Rays, of course, went. These are the records this year, last year.
Yeah, the Orioles 10 over both years. Of course, the Red Sox playing very well last year. Tampa Bay right behind them. Yeah, it's so interesting when you start reading about, okay, you know, certainly the Rays, because of the fact that they've won, what, over 90 games, 5 out of the last 6 years, they still don't think they're out of the race. Even though they came in today 11 back in the loss column. Yankees somehow find a way to win.
Buck Showalter doesn't think they're out. We were talking about that before the game today, and Buck was saying there's nothing easy about this second half, and he said any of these teams can run off a string of wins. In the air to right field, Nick Markakis off the bat of Cespedes. And there's one away here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Also in our Major League Notebook, under the worth repeating page, Buck Showalter talking about what they got to do, the Orioles. We're going to have to pitch. If you look at where we are statistically with the rest of the league, it makes you realize what a moving target pitching is. It's so hard to do. If they can do that, that would allow us to be consistent as a team. Nothing's changed.
No. Well, because they're not going to steal a lot of bases. They don't have the lowest percentage, but they have the lowest amount of steals. So, again, you are what you are in some ways. And the one area that I think Buck thinks, and even Dave Wallace, pitching coach, says, hey, we can get better. We can pitch a little bit better, especially our starters. And you're seeing that. I mean, Tillman is pitching better than he did a month ago. Miguel Gonzalez, he'll start against the Angels. The same. Kevin Gausman looks like he'll stay up here. You know, Chen's going to have a chance to win 10 games. Jimenez needs to get healthy and then get back and pitch better. Be more consistent as far as throwing strikes.
That one fouled straight back into the screen, and for the Orioles, this is the kind of trend that you want to see. The lowest ERA of starters, the Oakland A's, have it by a lot. Seattle, Angels, then the Rays. But you look at the bottom, the O starters last 33 games, 3.18. They've got to keep up that kind of number or something close to it. Swing and a miss, and got him as Moss is retired on the K. That's 5 strikeouts for Tillman.
Yeah, Moss, an awfully good hitter. 30 home runs last year, 21 this year, and boy, just rides the ball up and right on the corner, outside middle of the plate. I think the one thing is that what all those teams that are ahead of the Orioles have in common, they, at least when they're playing home, they play in pitchers' ballparks. You know, Anaheim, the ball carries in the daytime. At night, the Orioles will be down there for 3 night games. So again, but they still, I mean, they're trending the right way.
Josh Donaldson would like to do that. He's been trending the other way with the batting average. 0 for 2 in the ball game, and that one in the air. Foul territory into the Orioles bullpen. Markakis, nice play. He read it, and again, the room that's provided here to make those kind of plays can really help a pitcher. Side retired in order, 6 complete.
Lights. The Orioles get on the board. 2-run shot by Jonathan Scope, his second time up. Puts the Orioles, who have been trailing 1-0, ahead 2-1. And here come the A's. Next inning, Derek Norris gets a solo home run to tie it up at 2-2. Not a lot of offense. Tillman still on the mound. Samardzija is still doing the same thing. You can see pretty equally tonight. Tillman with a couple more strikeouts. Samardzija, the ground ball pitcher, a little bit more efficient as he gets here into the 7th inning. That is your Geico highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Chris Davis has had a base hit and he has struck out. Crossing the Mendoza line at 2:01. Davis, Hardy, and Manny Machado shift on, of course, against Chris. Samajia's delivery to him and throttled back on it and had Davis out in front.
Well, at least he's pitching him out over the plate. I mean, the rule of thumb is to try to crown him with fastballs, and it's a pretty good splitter. And again, he starts with his hands high, but watch him drop his hands. He gets the bat so far behind him, it is difficult to get anything on the inside part of the plate. I was watching video over the break, and it just didn't seem like he got trapped inside as much last year. And again, when you hit 53 home runs, you do have a target on your swing.
Speaking of target, that'll miss inside. Backed him off, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count from Samardzija. Samardzija with the 1-1 record since joining the A's. 3 wins and 8 losses overall on the season, coming over from the Chicago Cubs in the big deal. Immediately went to work. Second day here. Off the end of the bat. Be in the air to center. Crisp. A rainmaker. Waits for it and puts it away. When the Orioles take on the Mariners Friday, August 1 at 7:05, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over get the Orioles 60th anniversary 3/4 sleeve t-shirt. Celebrate the 60th with your Birds as the O's push for the postseason. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. 7th inning, J.J. Hardy hit by a pitch, and his single took one right on the top of the helmet last time up. As Samardzija has hit 2 in the game, Hardy and Caleb Joseph. Dodgers and Giants are now tied for first in the National League West. Dodgers lost today, Giants won. They are dead even. 0-1 delivery on the way. There are going to be some great races, including the American League East probably, going down in the second part of the season. So many teams in contention, and we haven't even begun to talk about the wild card.
Yeah, exactly. But there's 17 out of the 30 teams within 3.5 games of the wild card, which is the postseason. It's so amazing, you know. Early in the year, the Tigers had the best team. They were 27-12. Then it was the Giants at 42-21.
That ball line to center. Boy, he got all of that one. Hardy picks up the base hit, so he's got a couple of hits, 2 for 2. This one comes with 1 away in the 7th inning. As promised earlier in the game, our AT&T's fan photo celebrating baseball at the yard and with a souvenir. They're not going to let up on Machado as the boos rain down. He is singled, flying out to left field.
Well, if you're going to, you have the future that Manny has, and you play at the level he's been able to play, especially last year, going to get booed. I mean, they're not booing him because he's not a good player.
And he's going to get a little revenge. Goodbye, home run! Manny Machado rising to the occasion. Delivers a 2-run homer in the top of the 7th inning. And the Orioles are back on top 4-2. What a way to respond.
Yeah, what a bullet that was. And the Orioles certainly have to be happy. Couple of 2-run home runs, give them their 4 runs.
So the Orioles starting out this part of the season the same way they played the first part, and that's counting on the home run to deliver a large percentage of their runs. And that one is fouled back by Joseph.
Well, hanging slider to Scope. This is a splitter. And this is a bullet. The only thing you got to wonder, is it going to stay fair? And it doesn't have time to hook foul.
What a rip shot that was. Caleb Joseph will take it. Another $500 for Rodney Mazik, our Maryland lottery contestant, with the Orioles having 2 home runs in the ball game. And for Manny Machado, with the fans raining booze down on him at every occasion when he's made an appearance, pregame and in his at-bats, that will quiet the house. Pitch is a strike on the outside corner, and a 1-ball 2-strike count on Joseph. So the Orioles 4 runs on 6 hits with a 2-run homer here in the 7th inning. Hardy with a single to set it up, and that one fouled back. Joseph hit by a pitch and is grounded into a double play. Ryan Cook in the bullpen.
Yeah, second best bullpen. Only Seattle with a better bullpen in the American League. So a couple of mistakes by Samardzija tonight. One a slider, one a hanging splitter.
Only the second time this year Samardzija surrendered 2 home runs in a ball game. He did so against Washington on June 28. In fact, that was the last game he pitched for the Cubs, and he gave up 2 home runs in that game, and now 2 home runs in this one. A total of 10 home runs on the season. 1-2 delivery. Joseph will take it. It's a bouncer off the plate. I mean, right-handed batters only had 2 home runs against him coming into this ball game, and the Orioles have equaled that amount off the right-handed bats of Jonathan Schoop and Manny Machado. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Jammed him, and it's fouled back.
If he didn't swing, I think it was going to hit him. Yeah, he really has a good fastball, Gary. And tonight, you know, a lot of times you're out on the mound and you think, boy, this is the right pitch to throw, and it probably is if you locate it well. The slider didn't get located well, and the splitter stayed down and in, and he just massaged it about as well as you can hit a ball.
And a swing and a miss. He'll pick up strikeout number 4. That will bring up Jonathan Schoop in our Jeep inside the numbers. The most home runs since May 31st belongs to the Orioles with a distinct margin.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big difference. The 63 for the Orioles, updated with a 2 added tonight, and the Indians with 46. And that pitch taken by Schoop, the other home run hitter. 1 for 2, hit into a fielder's choice. Manny Machado getting his first home run in this ballpark. Schoop getting his first home run in this park in the first game he's ever played here. Samardzija's 0-1 delivery, and that one in the air to center. Chris. He's got it, and that will retire the side, but the Orioles get 2 on 2 hits, no errors, nobody left. Manny Machado, you could tell by the way he swung at that, he wanted something to answer the crowd. He did, and the Orioles have a 2-run lead. 7th inning stretch time. Fairly significant names on it. We'll start in 70 when Willie Mays recorded his 3,000th hit. He got it off Expos right-hander Mike Wegener. In 1927, Ty Cobb became the first Major League player to reach 4,000 career hits. And in 1921, the Babe became the all-time home run leader, hitting his 139th career home run. That put him ahead of Roger Connor. That's the man who used to have the home run record before that home run on this date in 1921. Here the Orioles have a 4-2 lead. Chris Tillman, the starter for the Orioles. Only the run off him, a double that came in the second inning or third inning by Jaso to bring home Chris. The home run by Norris. Voit up, and he'll take the pitch up high.
Yeah, boy, has he been red hot. And the Orioles getting somebody loose in their bullpen. So, what, 459 coming in at night? Almost 390 against right-handed pitching.
And he'll take the pitch, and it's in there for a strike. And Tillman, who has put up some good outings for the Orioles as the season has progressed, feeling as though he's getting better at what he's doing, better command, kind of shortening up everything he does in that delivery.
Well, they tried to get him to use his legs a little bit more. There's Tommy Hunter getting loose for the Orioles. You see the pitch count at 99, and try to use the legs a little bit more. Front foot maybe opens a little bit too much sometimes.
Nice location.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, he really hasn't. I don't know if he threw a ball over 91 tonight, but that ball at 90, up and in. Likes it out over the plate, gets it right underneath his hands. Perfect pitch with 2 strikes.
Chris's high in strikeouts this year is 8. That one right there is his 6th. One down, bottom of the 7th inning. Lowry coming up. He is grounded out and popped out. 9-game hit streak for Lowry coming into the ball game, which he's not extended yet. And the pitch will be to Wade for a ball. Lowry 15 for his last 37. Matches his second longest streak of his career with the 9 consecutive. And that one will be fouled back into the seats.
Yeah, he keeps swinging the balls maybe 2-3 inches a little bit out of the zone in hitters counts. And then he allows Chris Tillman to get back into the count, and then he makes some better pitches.
One ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. In the air, Hardy back, says I got it. And he does, and there are 2 away. On Saturday, August 2, bring your family out to Oriole Park for a promotion you won't want to miss. It's the first 10,014 and under at the Orioles Mariners game to get the Crush Davis action figure. Presented by PNC. This superhero style figure of Chris is sure to become a fan favorite. Don't miss the action-packed evening as Chris Davis is recognized in full form. Get your tickets now. Chris Tillman's leaving.
Yeah, well, I think he had enough of that, and he's leaving. Oh, he really did pitch well. Again, solo home run, early single, double, and has a chance to win this game, and now it's up the Oriole bullpen.
Bullpen goes to work, and Tillman with a chance to win his 7th on the road.
6 strikeouts on the night, using all his pitches. Change up right there. And their outside corner, John Jaso. And then Donaldson goes down on the high fastball. So menagerie of pitches tonight. Very effective. Curveballs, changeups, fastballs, pretty much the whole repertoire. As Tommy Hunters comes in, your Jiffy Lube pitching change is good, especially when it's your oil getting changed at Jiffy Lube. Give your vehicle relief with regular oil changes at Jiffy Lube and help stretch the life of your engine.
Norris with 2 down and nobody on. A home run in the 5th inning, ending his 0 for 12. That one's going to bounce away off Joseph.
I think he crossed him up. Or maybe he forgot what he called, because he said it's on me. There are the numbers. 10 straight scoreless appearance for Tommy Hunter. So the ERA coming down. He was the closer for the Orioles, even though he did it in a pretty arduous fashion early on. I think what, the first 11, 12 games, all the saves, not a 3-up, 3-out save. So now assuming the role that he did last year, and he was wonderful at it.
Norris. He'll foul that one back on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. That streak that Tommy Hunter has going of last 10 appearances matches his longest career streak, 12 1/3 innings without surrendering an earned run. Tillman hoping the Orioles can hang on to the lead and he can get a W, which would be his 8th win of the year. And worth noting, for the Orioles, Tillman could go 7-0 on the road. If he does that, he will become only the 6th pitcher to have 7 consecutive wins to open a season on the road for the Orioles in their history. Scotty McGregor holds the mark at 13.
Check that out. Scotty got him. Yep, really good pitch.
He helps him right there. Tommy Hunter gets the strikeout. That'll do it. 7 complete. Tillman's got a chance to be the winner. Our O's do-ups are brought to you by Mazda, Markakis, Pierce, and Jones to try and add to a 2-run lead. Ever against the Orioles, Jeff Samaja is out of there and could be the losing pitcher.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes. Hanging splitter to Machado. Earlier in the game, a hanging slider to Descope. Both 2-run home runs. But he pitches well. I mean, pretty efficient. 7 innings. Gives him a chance to win. Ryan Cook will come on, who, last year, 71 games each of the last 2 years. So look at those numbers. And he's on a roll. Hard throw. I mean, he gets it up, 94, 95 miles per hour, hard slider. He's got a change up to go with it. So you can see the lefties hit him better than righties, even though righties hit more home runs. So again, hard throwing right-hander, and this is the 2nd best bullpen, at least from an earned run average, right behind the Mariners.
27 years old, Ryan Cook coming. Speaking of bullpens, remember the trade deadline without having to flip players through waivers is the last day of this month. The Angels have acquired Houston Street from the Padres, a 4-player deal. Shortstop Jose Rondon, Taylor Lindsay, a shortstop prospect, and a right-hander R.J. Alvarez, along with a minor leaguer, are going to go to San Diego in exchange for Houston Street. So Street on his way to the Angels, so the Orioles will be seeing him in the upcoming series against the Angels.
Well, hopefully they won't, because they'll be ahead. He won't have to pitch. But
true.
Yes, I mean, I get your drift. We saw him last year when he was closing for the Padres.
Here's Nick Markakis against Cook. Markakis with an 0 for 3 in the ball game. Nick's gone 4 for 14 against the A's this season. He's had a couple of home runs in this ballpark in his career. 245 average in this yard. And Cook will deliver outside for a ball. So the Orioles here in the 8th inning, up by a score of 4-2. This tough road trip West Coast, no better way to kick it off than with a win against the #1 team in baseball. That's what they're trying to do here in this game. Markakis taking all the way.
Yeah, that's the 95, and you'd certainly like to add a run or two here.
Brian Cook's thrown 8 straight scoreless outings against the Orioles this year. He's worked an inning and a third. The Orioles have 1 run off him, and that one will be in the dirt. He's all over the place to start here against Markakis, 3-1.
No, you're hoping he wasn't an all-star. You know, he pitched like it the last couple of years. And is that maybe with the all-star break that he won't be as sharp as he normally is?
Markakis on a 3-1. Buck Showalter was talking about that today. He said one of the things that's my biggest concern are getting the bullpen guys back out on the mound to throw as early as I can without limiting our starters. Because he says this break, to me, those are the players who maybe need to get out there quicker than anybody else.
Well, I asked Chris Tillman, as a starting pitcher, I said, you throw in between to get ready for the start.
Markakis going to get a base hit in the left center field. So Nick is on with a leadoff single.
And what he said was, Caleb Joseph met me down the ballpark because I didn't one year and I'm never going to do that again. So he learned a lesson.
It worked.
Yep.
Follow every Orioles game all season long with MLB.com at bat. Your favorite mobile phone or tablet. At Bat brings you baseball wherever you are. Look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats. Free MLB TV game of the day. And classic games. Download MLB.com at bat at the App Store. Go to Orioles.com. Orioles get their 7th hit. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Orioles. 2 runs, 4 hits for the A's. Steve Pearce with Markakis on at first base. Orioles done well getting leadoff batters on here in the ball game. 4 times that's happened against 3 against Samaja, 1 against Cook. And Pearce will swing through that one. The Orioles have got 26 straight games coming up with teams that have winning records, at least winning records at this point, going into the post-All-Star game break, including all 10 of the games on this West Coast trip. 4 are going to be played in Seattle, 3 here, and 3 in Anaheim.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Seattle is looking at their numbers. They're under 500 at home, which is surprising, and they played really well on the road. That's a number that kind of shocks you. And the Angels, as we mentioned, 19 out of the last 23 at home.
And a strike called in the outside corner to Pearce. The Orioles' road record at 26-19. Outstanding road numbers. Their offense, their output's been a good 2 runs better per game on the road than at home so far. 1-2 delivery. Pearce chops at it. Only plays at first. He was off balance. Gets it over there, though.
Yeah, that was a nice play. I mean, not only, you release the ball, then you got to backpedal. And then you got, we've had, what, three pitchers tonight already? 4 pitchers. So then you got to avoid the holes in front of the pitching rubber. And then you got to also say, oh, do I have a play at second? Now watch him. He'll catch this ball. He looks, and then he kind of sidearms it over to first. And he makes an accurate throw. But the Orioles do get an add-on run, possibly into scoring position.
That is Nick Markakis at second base with 1 away. And Adam Jones coming to the plate. Adams got an 0 for 3 in this one. Markakis will be held close to second by Perino, the second baseman. Oh, another hit batter, and Cook angry at himself as that one got away. Wait, these two teams, for whatever reason, can't seem to keep the ball away from the other's batters, and not intentionally here. Just that's.
Well, again, right
three in the game.
Yeah, power arm. I mean, what he's trying to go in, but boy, when you start messing around there, and you know, I know it's not intentional, but that's about 3 inches from his face. When you don't like to see that happen, and it's easy to do. I mean, because you have a live arm, you haven't been probably pitching as much. So let's see. So Adam, he got tagged on the back of the shoulder on the Donaldson off throw at first. But the good thing is he turned into it and got his head out of the way.
So Samaj had 2 hit batters as he hit Hardy on the helmet and hit Joseph before that. Now Cook adds 1, putting runners on at first and second.
Yeah, Kirk Young just comes out, and I think, I mean, anytime you're a pitcher and you get the ball up by somebody's face, there is a little bit of a shock too. I mean, you just don't want to do that. It's a big difference between pitching in and then pitching and going head hunting. And again, he didn't mean to do it. Kurt Young, certainly a very adept former starting pitcher, comes out to settle him down.
Now Nelson Cruz, runners on at first and second base. Only 1 out. Cruz will take it. It is in there for a strike. Nelson hitting at 277 with runners in scoring position and a big chance to add to it. Each team with 2 chances, each team 1 for 2. Just haven't been a lot of opportunities in this game. Started to go, holds off, pitch will miss from Cook. 1-1.
Man, how do you get Nelson Cruz out? You don't get him out in the middle of the plate. You don't get him out up and out over the plate. You throw him breaking balls and then you run the ball in on him. And after he hit Adam Jones, maybe reluctant to do that.
Down to third, fair ball. Donaldson, 1 relay. Great throw made by Perino, who got taken out on a good slide by Adam Jones. So no runs on 1 hit. Orioles will leave a base runner on. We go to the bottom half of the inning, 4-2 Orioles. Telecast is presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. There is David Lowe, who will come on as a defensive replacement for Steve Pearce in left field. Straight up change. He'll be batting second. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Orioles on top by a score of 4-2. Home runs, Manny Machado and Jonathan Scope have accounted for the Orioles 4. Leading it off, Perino, number 9 hitter. And he'll foul it back on a big cut. He has struck out twice. Top of the order, Crispin Jaso will follow the second baseman. The A's have won 9 ball games where they have trailed after 7 innings. That's a lot of wins, especially just before the All-Star break. That one inside, didn't get him.
And there's Darren O'Day getting loose. Yeah, of course, one of the ways you do that, if you trail, you don't give, because the bullpen is as good as it is. So the Orioles do that in 2012. And they went 29-9 in 1-run games. You just don't give up a lot of late game runs.
Hunter's delivery. Orioles are 38-5 when they have had a lead after 7, as they do here, playing at the bottom of the 8th.
Well, all they want to do is get somebody on. I mean, that's where it starts. Tommy Hunter says, I want to get the leadoff guy on. Got a tough guy, Crisp, on deck.
Reno will foul that one back. Tommy came on and got the strikeout to end the 7th.
Yeah, and so for a guy that loves his cutter, and that's Tommy Hunter, and as you mentioned, 10 scoreless out. Right here, really late on the fastball. What do I want to throw here? Do I want to speed up the bat? We've seen Samardzija did it twice to the Orioles, and they hit two home runs, but do I just hit the outside corner with 95, 96?
Tried to go away.
98, but it's a ball.
So he takes a count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Leadoff batter here in the 8th inning.
Gary, I thought that was always one of the more critical, count the 2-2 pitch, because if you go 3-2, 2-run lead, now you have to a little bit more of the plate, not what you wanted to do.
Marino waiting on it, and he couldn't get it. 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've seen since Tommy Hunter came back after the groin injury is it'll throw more 2-seam fastballs. So what it does, maybe it's not 98, but it has late run. And Moreno can't quite catch up to it.
1 down. Hunter struck out both batters faced, and that will bring up Coco Crisp.
Yeah, the 8th strikeout of A's hitters so far.
Crisp against Hunter, lifetime 4 for 15, including 1 home run. Machado will be even with a bag at third again, as he's been in all of these at-bats by Crisp. He'll take the big cut for a strike.
Yeah, that pitch, that 2-seam fastball, has tremendous movement.
Real good ball game to open up the series. Right back with you tomorrow night. Wei-Yin Chen on the mound against Jason Hamill, the former Oriole. 8:30 O's extra, 9 o'clock for the ball game. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Chris will pop it up. Manny Machado in foul territory. He's got it. Hunter gets the first 2 here in the 8th.
Yeah, they boo everything that Manny does here. Man.
He can only smile because he's had the last word so far.
Yeah, he's not going to let him know it. There is Eric O'Flaherty.
John Jaso.
Flaherty, the left-hander, has been up twice now in the bullpen.
Boy, he had a Tommy John about, maybe 13, 14 months ago. So he's back pitching in the big leagues.
Hunter with 2 away, and Jaso coming up, a double and an RBI. He has struck out, flied out. Does have a 7-game hit streak. Jaso has never had a hit off Hunter in 6 at-bats. Orioles up by a score 4-2. Hunter's pitch to him will be up high for a ball. Talking to folks who are following the Orioles closely and connected to the ball club, when the club came out here to work out yesterday, one of the things they all were talking about was how impressed they were with the focus that the team had. They came out here and ran through drills, a lot of spring training type work, and they were into it. I mean, they were ready. They wanted to be here. They wanted to be back. They wanted to be on the field after flying cross country. They just seem to have there is a real drive right now in this ball club. 1-1 delivery. That'll be to left field. Here's Lowe, and he'll make the catch. And Hunter's retired all 4 that he has faced. We take this ball game to the 9th inning. It's the Orioles on top 4-2. Masson is brought to you by your Baltimore BMW Centers. Gary Thor, Jim Palmer with you. We'll be heading back across the bridge to San Francisco after the ball game. The Orioles hoping to head back with a W as they lead at 4-2 in the ninth. Eric O'Flaherty to pitch.
Yeah, he comes on, as we mentioned, the Tommy John surgery last year. They get him a couple-of-year deal out of Atlanta. So you can see the hits, 3 of those, and he's dominated left-handers over the last couple of years. Orioles have a history with him. You know, if you go way back, I mean, his ERA, I mean, it's almost I won't even say what it is. It's so long ago. His ERA is over 12 runs a game, but in limited innings. And they bring him in to get the pitch to Chris Davis.
Davis has had a base hit, 1 for 3 in the ball game. O'Flaherty only reinstated on July 3. Broken bat pop-up will go towards second base. It's actually the shortstop was there. Lowry puts it away as the shift was on, and Davis is retired 1 away in the ninth inning. O'Flaherty looking to get the Orioles out here. Hardy and then Manny Machado due up. J.J. Hardy's had a big night. He's had 2 singles, a run scored, been hit by a pitch right on the top of the helmet. Yet was able to stay in the ball game. 3 hit batters in this ball game. Samaje hit 2, Cook hit 1. None of it had anything to do with the first series these teams played. They were just Samaje hits batters. He's hit 9. And Cook had 1 that got away on him up and in on Jones. And the players simply went to their positions and kept going. And one of the interesting things, because there was a discussion tonight before the game about whether or not Major League Baseball, in light of what happened in Baltimore, would have the umpires, crew chief, warn both teams before the game even started. They obviously did not. Second base. Oh, he's got it. Barrino makes the catch as he overran it and had to bend his body in 2 to get it.
Yeah, he's really had a nice defensive night, and he has to come a long ways up the middle. You get a long way, ball, maybe, and then it's almost like a fumble recovery right here. What a play.
Some way held on to it.
Yep.
So Perino, good night. Machado gets his chorus of boos again, having delivered his 10th home run in the 7th inning. Another reason for the A's fans to boo. He's had a single, a home run, and he has flied out. He's got a 4-game hit streak now. 10 home runs on the season. He and Jonathan Scope have had the homers. Big count on Alexis Towson drive of the game.
Yeah, there it is. 105 miles per hour, average speed 77 off the bat. Little splitter that just stays up, and you probably figured, how did he ever hit it so hard?
Inside out foul ball on Alexis. Drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 Lexus dealer. Come see why at lexusofTowson.com.
Well, a gamble by Billy Beane, the GM of the A's, to think that O'Flaherty could come back. I mean, just dominated over the National League, ERA of under a run and a half a game. And a lot of appearances, 161 appearances, and we'll see if he has that kind of success. But over the National League, he was lights out.
He was one of those pitchers brought in for the specialty role of getting the left-handers out, hitting 169 against him since 2011, but right-handers 366 over that same span. 2 ball, 2 strike count, 2 down. Machado waiting on it. He wanted another one and fouls it back. Orioles closer Zach Britton preparing for the bottom of the ninth. It is a save situation. Real good contest between these two teams. That ball down to third is a fair ball. Donaldson the long throw. Manny Machado retired. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Cespedes, Moss, and Donaldson due up.
And boy, he's been so good the first half. You know, sinker baller. So took over for Tommy Hunter. He could strike you out, ground ball pitcher. Very rarely do they put the ball in the play in the air. So a nice 3-1 record with 15 saves. I mean, look at that ERA. And again, a lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks, the ability to throw the ground ball.
So Zach Britton will try and finish it off as the Orioles try and put away game one of this 10-game road trip in the first of 3 against Oakland. The Oriole fans cheering them on here tonight. Part of the 27,200 plus. Metro Owners Ball Club looking for their 53rd win of the year. And a chance to gain a game on Toronto. The Yankees won, so the Yankees and Toronto could be tied for second at the conclusion of this ball game. Here is Cespedes, a single, 1 for 3, and he will take the pitch for a strike from Zach Britton. Britton with a chance to put the save up. The Orioles trying to even up the season series at 2 apiece against the A's. Britton worked one of the games in Baltimore, 2 innings, gave up no runs, 1 hit, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Cespedes off the end of the bat. They put that into the seats in foul territory. And a 2-strike count. RBI double by Jaso in the 3rd and a home run by Norris in the 5th have accounted for the 2 runs. Only 4 hits for the A's. The Orioles have out-hit them 7-4.
Yeah, so the position where now you don't have to throw a strike for this count. What we've seen him do over the last 6 weeks or so, doesn't look like you're going to do it here. Run the ball in off the front hip of the righties.
Slow roller down to 3rd. Manny Machado is going to take a great play, and there is none. No chance. Unwisely held onto it. And Cespedes will get a leadoff single. The first leadoff man they've had on in the game.
So very fortunate for Cespedes. I mean, he hits it sinker, hits the top of it, gets a base hit, and if here's Zach Britton with a 2-run lead, he doesn't even exist over there. No chance at all. The swing and bunt. Good pitch, bad result, unless you root for the A's.
Brandon Moss has faced Britton only once. He is 0 for 1 against him. Moss in the game's taken an 0 for 3. Davis will hold the bag at first base. Moss has got power. Britton will back up.
Yeah, does he ever? Three of the 21 home runs against lefties.
Delivery by Britton will be outside for a ball. So 2 great teams, division leaders, facing off against each other in a ball game worthy of their records here in game 1. Cespedes a very short lead at first. 1-0 delivery on the way. Moss, a broken bat. That's going to be a base hit. Over to 3rd base goes Cespedes, and the A's cover the corners on a dying Quail broken bat base hit.
So infield hit, jam shot. That big strong guy breaks his bat, still dumps it into right. And Nick Markakis, nice play, because Cespedes at 3rd doesn't mean anything. Now all of a sudden you have the winning run at the plate.
The all-star 3rd baseman, Josh Donaldson. Based on the first series in Baltimore, wouldn't you know, Manny Machado would ground out to Donaldson to end the top of the 9th, and Donaldson would come up in the bottom half with 2 on and nobody out. It's just the nature of the beast. He's hit well against left-handers. 274, 9 home runs. Ball hit up in the air, left center field. Adam Jones is going back to the wall. Oh, mercy! Goodbye home run. Donaldson has delivered a game-winning 3 RBI homer. in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the A's have defeated the O's 5-4.
Well, they get exactly what they want. Infield roller, a fluke, and then the blast. Backspins it, and he knows it's gone. Well, you could just look at his face. Just a matter of how far it's going to go.
Unbelievable finish. So Zach Britton, his 3rd blown save of the year, and the A's come away with a dramatic 5-4 win with Josh Donaldson picking up the home run that ends the ball game.
You know, Gary, you almost go back a month ago, the Beltran 3-run home run off of Zach Britton. And it also happened on a Friday night in New York. Heartbreaker.
Yep. So Flaherty will get the win and Britton will take the loss. That'll be win number 60 for the A's, the first team to reach that mark this year. And the Orioles, that close, but that close, of course, is not enough. Tomorrow, game 2 of this 3-game set. Wei-Yin Chen will be on the mound against Jason Hamill, the former Oriole. Our coverage on MASN 2 will begin at 8:30 with O's Extra presented by Dodge, followed by our game coverage at 9. This has been a MASN presentation. Jim and Rick standing by. O's Extra presented by PNC coming up next, and a look at how quickly the face of a baseball game can change. For Jim Palmer and all of our crew here at the Coliseum in Oakland, I'm Gary Thorne. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Adieu.